Really quick, just to kind of summarize the video, I'm going to be complaining about all my flex tools in one video rather than forcing you to watch several of them. That's just to save you some time. So please stick around and watch the whole video. But essentially, I went to several different Lowe's, probably about 5 or 6 of them, just to pick up different tools, just to see if the flex tools were worth it. Unfortunately, as of right now, I have returned all of my flex tools. That does not mean that I hate flex. That does not mean that if you have flex tools and you have good experience with them, that you should give them back. No. This is just maybe really bad shipping, really bad quality control. I don't know what the case is. But the fan across the board, I bought 6 of them just to test. They all had this high pitch frequency in the back. My camera couldn't really pick it up, so there's no point in showing it. But it was this high pitch frequency. If you need a fan to move some serious volume of air, it's good. But that close quarter quality of use is not going to be good. Like, you're going to hear that high pitch stuff. No, it's not tinnitus either, before you ask, but the fan had to go back. As far as the trim router, at the 4.5 and 6 setting, I ended up having this really garish sound that sounded like the tool was really angry. And before anybody asks, yes, I did tighten down the collet nut just to see if it was any reverberation happening from a loose piece. And the brad nailer, even though that broke my heart to let it go, it's probably the best one I've ever used, and probably I'll get it in the future. But it had this issue where I would lay it down on its side, and the magazine would unlatch and spit the rack of nails at me. Needless to say, not good. So that had to go back. I did complain, of course, in the video about the stack pack stuff, and it is what it is. But the rotary hammer, the bandsaw, the job site blower, the jigsaw, they all seem to be pretty solid tools. Again, it's not that I hate flex as far as performance. It's more about consistency of performance and quality control. So unfortunately, I did have to bring all my stuff back. This is just Lowe's across the board where I am. Maybe Ohio Power Tool or some other separate channel or authorized dealer may have a better shipment. So maybe I'll try them in the future. But stick around for the video. You'll get your impression. I hope your luck with flex tools, if you do decide to get into them, is better than mine. But as of right now, from what I've seen, not too impressed. Hope the miter saw is really good. The brad nailer is good, but the rest is kind of hit or miss as far as what I've seen. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. I wanted to make this video because I'm starting to stock up on flex stuff, and I wanted to give my honest opinions. First, the medium case flex storage solution. This is the medium, the FS1102, if I'm not mistaken. This is the B storage. Love these big buckles. Usually I'm very scared of plastic, but it's pretty well reinforced. Again, very tough case. This is ghetto, yes. Unfortunately, my first con with this is it didn't include a divider. So I don't want my nailer in here sliding around because this is a big thing. So I'm going to be toting this back and forth, right? It does have handles on both sides, and it even has one to carry it in the front like a trunk. However, this is not something I want to carry sideways because when I pick this up, everything's just going to tumble this way. So this has to be right side up, and that's what the cantilever handle is here. This thing, super strong, and the stack pack, compatible connection here is for connecting your job site radio or your fan. Speaking of fan, right over here, right? So this little clasp comes up, right? In the front here, you see 2 little holes, and that matches up with these 2 little holes, match up with the 2 little tabs here. So the first thing that goes in is that little flat portion. Then you pull this out. Once it falls into place, you just lock it into place, just press it in, and you got yourself a nice fan that's hanging out on top of your gear. In case your buddy comes by and smacks it, it's not going to come out. I just wanted to show the issues that I have with the stack pack. First and foremost, you see this clamp? You see how it bangs? It bangs. You see how it's getting locked? It's hitting the side of the charger, which means that you cannot mount your charger in the top position without it smacking right here, which freaking sucks. I don't know why you would design something that is supposed to be compatible in either position and then allow it to bang here. That's one. Two, unfortunately, if I was to take this charger and put it here, then yes, it would be fine. But then when you want to open your bits in order to have access to them, you want your bits like this. If I put it up there, it opens up to like here, which means I wouldn't be able to get to my 6-inch extension or my 3-inch extension without having to like kind of fiddle with it, pull them out halfway, and then eventually I'll just end up getting annoyed and just pulling it off and using it the old-fashioned way. So that sucks because this, like the whole point of this was like, you know, everything stack pack, click it over here, no problem, just hit the button, you can set it up here, set it up here. It's a good system in theory. However, no divider. This would have cost you nothing to put a plastic divider here. But anyways, you can't put your charger here. I'm thinking y'all need a compact charger to make this work, because I know you don't want to hear me, but I'm not a big channel, so most people are not going to be like, oh, yep, here's an email. We're already working on it. You'll see it in the next burst of tools that they release. This right here is a great thing. If I plug this in right here, you want to have your charger, you know, doing its thing, right? If I put on a dead battery, which this is completely dead, right? Starts charging. But let's say it starts raining, so you pull your cord in and you just want to set your charger down. Look. That sucks. So now it starts raining. You can't start putting your stuff away. Now you got to take this, pull it off the hook, which defeats the whole purpose of the mounting system, and then close it. See what I mean? It's a dumb oversight. But at least this way, the majority of the rain is not going to be hitting your stuff. So that sucks. Second, as far as the bits, yeah, I'm just going to complain about all my flex stuff in one video. Second, there's not a single slotted piece in here. This is the 41-piece set. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my god, nobody uses impacts with a slotted. Well, you never know if you want to throw it into your screwdriver and maybe your screwdriver bit broke or lost it, or you dropped it in a hole or something. They sell them separately, but good luck finding them. Now, as far as the cordless router, right? Let me just pull this off for a second. Right? Should have at least one notch. Cool. If I take this on, right? I'm gonna go to the lowest. Yep. Dropping everything. That's the lowest speed, right? When you crank this up, it hits a decibel that is so painful. That is painful to listen to. Once it gets to that top pitch, it sounds like, oh, it bothers the hell out of my brain. Anyways, so the bits are supposed to open up all the way. They unfortunately don't when the battery's up top. When the battery's up top, you can't close it all the way. If the battery's on the bottom, then your case doesn't open up all the way. It opens up to like there. Now, I'm going to show you what you could do, Flex. Now, these are just two examples of where a company took a charger and made it smaller. They don't make these anymore. This is a pretty big boy, but it does, in fact, charge all the 18-volt batteries. They decided to go with something like this as a standard. I understand that the big, giant, mega chargers that Flex has have the fans, and they're more higher tech, if you want to call it that. But Ryobi took it, and they made a compact version of their battery as well. It can be done. I don't need super fast charging. I don't need 15 fans running. I don't need it to sound like a hair blower while my battery is charging. What I need is to be able to completely make this customizable so that it justifies the cost, right? So if I put them down here, bits don't open. If I put them in the top, The case doesn't close. So as customizable as you call this, it's really not. If this was like an inch smaller, it would actually fit within, obviously take the measurements and do that. But if you were to actually have it stop here, even with the battery, or find a new hole or different plate design, you would have it here, it would close. I ordered the battery rack to hold the 3 batteries here. This is another thing that I'm pretty sure if I get that accessory, when I have the bits, let's say, over here, right? When I close that, it's not going to close because the batteries are going to be here. So the more accessories and the more money I spend, the less I'm able to use the stack pack, because now it's just going to sit there and be a decoration of all the different accessories. That sucks, So with this, it's just garishly loud on the highest setting. For some reason, it has to be the battery, because I slap in a fresh 3.5 and there's nothing wrong with it, but it hits this decibel. I don't know if it's defective or not, but it is what it is. I'm not paid by Flex. This is all my money. The Brad nailer, you've seen the video I did on it. It's excellent. The bits, my favorite color are green. My favorite colors are green, black, silver. That's what most of my clothes look like, minus the green. I'm just like pretty solid colors. This is beautiful to look at. But tools are not just supposed to be about being beautiful. They're supposed to work, right? So the fan's good. I used it to dry paint. I've used it to dry compound, filler, anything like that. And they work. It gets the job done. As far as the nailer, no problem there. One more thing that the case did come with was a little organizer. Now this little top organizer is, did come included. If I put this here, right, you cannot close the lid because this is here. So you move it, right, to the other side. If you have something here, you have to move it over here. If you have something in both places, this goes to a table or a desk, or you throw it away, or you recycle it, or you give it to somebody else. You can't use everything. So it kind of sucks that everything is accessible and there's accessories and add-ons for everything, but you can't use everything at the same time. Kind of defeats the purpose of hyping everything up. I know the whole point is to, switch and swap, but I don't want to keep unscrewing this and screwing it in and adding and subtracting. I want to kind of get something that I'm comfortable with and just rock with it. So like I was saying, now let's put the charger on the bottom and let's put our bits on the top. If I want to access my bits, well, that's about it. I better hope that anything that I need is on this side, because anything in this far corner is not going to be accessible to me apart from the 1-inch inserts. So any of the nut drivers that are in the corner, or if I put a special bit here, that'll be about as far as I can go. These 2 bits completely useless in this position. Again, you don't care about that? That might be a good configuration for you. For me, I probably need everything in a bit case that I'm walking around with. Now, some of y'all might be saying, don't be a baby. Why don't you just take it and move it over here? And I can absolutely do that. The issue is that now, because I have something on both sides of the back plate, let's assume, right, if I take everything out of the way, right, set that over there. Now, let's say I put a battery rack here and a battery rack here, so I can have 6 batteries at all times with me. Guess what? This is going to hit those batteries and say, nope, I'm not going to close. This right here is going to hit the batteries and say, nope, I'm not going to go. See what I'm saying? The more stuff you get, because you want that beautiful ecosystem, is actually going to go wrong, 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 wrong. Everything's going to counter each other in a counterproductive way. So that sucks. I mean, it's got a spot for you to lock it, but in case anybody cares, this is a 12.25-inch by 8-inch pieces of cardboard to keep a little bit of reinforcement from this sliding anywhere. So this kind of sucks. I got to see what's going to happen with the stack pack situation, because this is something I wanted to work. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't me setting this up for failure. This is me being completely honest. I wanted this because of the lifetime warranty and because Flex is supposed to be stronger than Milwaukee as far as their cordless router. This is a heavy freaking router, by the way. So I'm like, you know what? It feels premium. It's a little bit heavier, but it feels like it's heavy duty. It's got a 1.5 horsepower. It's got 2-inch depth for trimming. I'm like, this is the way to go. Cordless router, nail gun, fan, and that miter saw that is, coming in the horizon. I want Flex to survive, and I want Flex to thrive and put Milwaukee in their place. So and DeWalt can show up, and Makita, and everybody can fight over the market, because that means the prices go down, the features increase, and the consumer, we get to benefit from it, just like those companies get to profit from it. Everybody wins, right? Good tools for us, money for them. Everybody's good. Yeah, we're gonna take 2 seconds to pick on the fan, right? So if I put in a non-dead battery, and again, to confirm, right, 3 notches. If I turn this on, there's many different clicks. They're almost semi-positive clicks that you could feel the ticking as they move. So if I click this, you see how that click, this is supposed to be on. Nothing's happening. If I just make one little tick to the right, now it comes on. So there's no way to know whether you're in low, medium, or high. So this is supposed to be 46 hours on low. What exactly is low? How many of these ticks constitutes low? We know high is, and it is awesome. This thing definitely moves air. I love that it's brushless. It's simple. There's not a lot of crazy vibration. It ramps up and ramps down the RPMs very nicely. I can't say anything bad about this other than that weird, positioning thing. You don't know what mode is going to give you the most runtime. 46 hours is cool, but does 46 hours mean like that? Right? You feel it about what? 4 feet away? Is that low? Is that low? Is this medium? Is anything past this notch high? Are we now in medium? No clue. That's my only issue with this fan. This and DeWalt's fan, and again, I got to call out DeWalt for a good thing. DeWalt is IP waterproof. I just want to know if this happens to be getting wet. Obviously, you're not going to be outside with a fan. Maybe you are. Maybe it starts raining, you get water. These are dust and water resistant. I like that the batteries are a little more hardy. However, what happens to the fan if it gets rained on? There's no rating for this. But let's say I'm in a crawl space. Let's say I'm in a basement. Let's say I'm in an attic, somewhere where there's water, and this thing gets blasted with water. There's no water rating. So some people were complaining because it doesn't have a mister or water to spray at you. I don't care about any of that shit. What I want to know is this hardy enough? How many times can I click this back and forth before it finally gives up and breaks? I want hardy, long-lasting tools. I don't need bells and whistles. Maybe some water resistance. I don't know. Also, whoever's idea it was to put a gauge for the battery in the front, that person needs a raise. So you don't have to keep reaching behind here and clicking the button to check. No, just right there. And they added a USB-C port. That's awesome. Sadly, it did come with a plug. So out of the box, let's say I didn't know this was a cordless battery powered fan, I could still use it. It didn't come with a USB-C cord. That would have been nice. I'll tell you, that actually would have been nice today because my phone died and I had to drive from the store to my house with absolutely no GPS. It's a good thing my big brain remembered the way home. All right, really quick, let's compare bits. Now, these are my Makita Impact XPS bits. These are the only bits in the world that I will use, period. The only reason I got the Flex ones, all respect to Flex, is because I wanted the stack pack connection, and obviously they're not going to accept a random Makita container. These are the best bits hands down on the market as far as what I've seen, with the Max Fit from DeWalt being a close second. let's look at the comparison. I mean, they got all the bits you can want. A lot of people were complaining about how it's difficult to take out the bits, so Flex listened and made it so that you can just pop your bit out, slide it back in, and then lay it back. And they all have kind of like a, not a 45-degree angle, but they're already angled up, so they're easy to grab. Same thing with Makita. They're flat, but they do have these little tabs. You pull them up, and you're able to grab the bits you need. Now, the Makita case does have a little bit more bite on these bits, but these are the best as far as durability. You can see right here, SL8, SL10. That's slotted 8 and slotted 10. Over here, nothing. You got a bunch of T20, you got a T20, T25s, T30. You have all these bits that are just repeats. Again, these are the most common, especially T25 and Phillip 2s. But let's not even talk about how well the assortment is with the Makita. This right here by itself is something Flex needs to have over here. This is a magnetic adapter that goes over any of the 2-inch bits. You need one of these. Now, if I pop it off, you can see it's got some detents in there, but if I try to pop it onto any of the Flex bits, it's too loose, right? The bits actually have the shoulder to successfully make this. VCG Construction and all these other big companies or YouTube channels, they talked about needing this, and it unfortunately is something that is severely necessary. Just sell them separately, and I did check just in case, because when these go, I'm going to be putting my Makita bits into here and just rocking those. But these bits, let's say I wanted to, I don't know, grab one of these T25s, right? Grab a T25 and put it on. Let me see if I can do this one-hand mode. Yeah, right? So let's say I wanted a T25. If I put it into the Flex case, this bottom row has the bits far apart enough to where it's not hitting each other. If I was to try to put that on the row here, it's too close together. So definitely in this type of situation, you would want it right here. Think about this being black with this strip here being green, and then in the black collar just says Flex right here. You can absolutely do that, and it will cost next to nothing for you guys to get that done. Again, I can't trust Flex because I don't know what their impact bits are like. They also do come with this type of kind of white powder coating. I don't know if you can see that. It comes with almost like a powder or something. I was concerned. I was like, does that mean they're prematurely going bad? But I don't know. They all come like that, so maybe that's part of the protection. Not entirely sure. Please, Flex, make a magnetic holder or attachment for your 2-inch bits. I know we get the magnetic for the insert, that 1/4-inch magnetic bit holder for the insert bits. We want this. If we check the length, one of these 2 inches is much shorter, right? Much shorter. If we can get this with a little attachment, that would be much better than having to drive this whole thing, especially in tighter spots. Make it happen, Flex. Make it happen. And the last thing, of course, and it doesn't have to be super expensive, is labeling your bits. I know somebody out there is going to be like, wow, you can tell this guy clearly doesn't work on a job site. Everybody knows what a Phillips 2 looks like or what that looks like. It looks nicer just to look like this and go, ah, yes, a square 2, square 3, square 1. I get that you can just tell the smaller ones from the bigger ones, but it's just nice. It's organized. If this was labeled over here, I could just take these out. Let's say they did have the labels under them. I could take them out, put them here. They'd still be labeled. If I had to buy replacements, they'd still be labeled. It all would feel nice. And the last thing I wanted to share as far as the router is I would like to see the handle or the plunger base
Not necessarily that I'm a woodworker, so not really plunge cuts, but at least some kind of handle that makes it more ergonomic when you're doing more detailed work. That would be nice. And something that in the future, if they were to make a newer version of this, it would have the same layout so that if I use this one or if I buy the new one, I wouldn't have to keep buying different bases or different plungers for different things. It would all be the same system. So some kind of handle on both sides. You could take a look at the Bosch one, the DeWalt one. They're very ergonomic, some way to kind of handle it. I know the point of this is to be like small and manageable, but a couple handles would not kill this. Milwaukee has it, DeWalt has it, and if I'm not mistaken, Makita does too. So make it happen, people. Make it happen. I really want to get into flex, but I gotta see what the configuration is here because I'm trying to keep all my stuff in one spot so I'm not running over. I don't mind like taking out tools and only grabbing what I need, but I need this to be like modular and completely customizable. Alrighty. So as far as the flex bits themselves go, they are very capable, very capable. So let's say as far as Phillips 2 fitment, I mean, there's no wobble to them at all. The actual spinning you're seeing is from the chuck itself, but this is nice and tight. I mean, magnetic bit, what can you expect? I'm actually going to slap in the battery plate for the charger over here. I'm still figuring stuff out, but since the cable for the charger is on the right side of the charger, I'd rather have it facing down here. So first thing you do, if there's four holes here, the four up here, there's 4 holes, let's see. There's 4 holes here for your charger, and then you can extend it, make your charger here, yes. But if you take out this security T25 screw, which some people are going to be like, oh my God, no, that's not how you do it. This is for, securing the actual board back. There's plenty of screws. This is fine. But it uses the same threads as the bracket threads in terms of the size and coarseness of the threads. So you take this one out, you put in your plate. You just have to be careful with these plastic tabs, like I said already.
Something that I did forget to add, unfortunately, was this is the type of wear and tear you see with an impact driver, with your drills, with your heavier duty uses. And this is just normal wear and tear on a 1-inch bit, and same thing with a 2-inch bit, right? This is the type of stuff you're going to see day in and day out, and that's why I love these Makitas, because they can take a beating and just keep going. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show it, but with the flex bits, this is the type of wear you saw after only installing the screws for those mounting brackets. So it's crazy to me that I was already seeing this type of wear. It's so disappointing. I'm assuming that maybe I got a batch that had the badly treated ones during manufacturing. Maybe this got treated wrong, but I can understand the difference between like a witness mark or a wear mark and actual wear and tear. So my bit was looking a little better than this, but still, that's horrible.
I mean, this would have been the perfect setting. Plus, I put a little protector to make sure the prongs don't get bent up if a tool happens to hit them. So this would have been the perfect setup. A little bit of wobble, of course, if there was a way to, I don't know, somehow make that stable. But this is my issue, is that it doesn't allow my bits to open up all the way. So whether I've used the flex one, whether I throw in the Milwaukee, you have to like wobble it out, and then if you pull it, it starts pulling out the actual bracket. Come on, flex. Something like this, such a small thing to ask for. Right? Somebody out there is going to be like, oh my God, he doesn't know what he's doing. Of course I do. I'm just trying to see from the average person's point of view what the shortcomings are. It's a good system otherwise. I just maybe like an inch more of space
Even just being able to drop this down to a 90-degree angle and have it rest on the battery is totally fine. I'm not going to sit here leaning on this, so I'm not going to damage anything. But at least a perfect 90, like if it was like without forcing this, because now I'm putting pressure on the charger inappropriately. If I could have it here at a 90 angle, that would be perfect. I'd have access to all my bits with no stress to the charger. Just an inch, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches max, would have made that a reality. Now, I just took a weight of this. It is 32.4 pounds. That is with everything that I need, minus the set of router bits, right? And obviously some kind of insert so that my router is not just tumbling around. But that's all I want. This, that. Obviously this right here, I can substitute it with a 3-battery carrier. Then I'm just going to need something to, hold a couple packs of nails. As far as everything else, I mean, straightforward. All I want is that hang down. If that would hang down, that'd be awesome. And if they could have one of the brackets like this, where you could put it on this side and somehow have this orientation over here, but with the cable still facing down, since they only go on one way, the cable has to be up and then fed over. That might not be a big deal, but aesthetically, you know what? I have to say it. Aesthetics do kind of matter on the job site. It's not just about good tools and stuff. You want it to look nice. Am I right? Maybe I'm completely wrong and all this is going to get covered in dust anyway, so who cares? But we'll see. And also, there's a lot of wobble here on that battery. I don't like that, because these right here, these are plastic tabs. After a while of that wobbling and taking that pressure, eventually those tabs will snap and you're gonna need 2 new plates. 2 of these, $20 for a couple of plastic plates with some screws. If this was a little aluminum plate, this thing would last a very long time. I'd rather pay $30, let's say, and just get 2 sheets of aluminum here with the same dimensions versus plastic. That's just me though. I understand the point is to keep it lightweight and also to keep the cost down, but I'd rather have something that's metal and a little more reinforced than some hard plastic that'll just kind of give up and wobble. That's just my take. Now, everybody who's a fan of Flex, take it easy. Don't get mad at me for stating the obvious. I'm just out here trying to see what can be improved by Flex, because I want to see them succeed. I want to see a company that has finally stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, let's push all the companies out of the way. We're going to go straight for Milwaukee specs. We're going to beat them. We're going to match them. We're going to do what we can to really set the market straight, because it's been all downhill from Milwaukee to all the other companies. DeWalt is starting to wake up. That hammer drill they released is incredible. The DCF 860 impact driver DeWalt dropped is awesome as well. All these companies are finally waking up, and Milwaukee might just be in for some serious competition. I want to see everybody really filling the market with some good stuff. It helps everybody. Not everybody is in Flex. Maybe you got some Craftsman people, you got your Cobalt people. I want everybody to be happy with what they got. So I've harped about this issue enough with the hang down, but if I was to put it the other way, the cable, which again is on the side, on the right side, it's going to be sitting here facing up, as you saw. So if I put it here, there's even less space for it. I just want a bracket like this where I could somehow feed it, even if it extends over to hook it here, but the actual hooks are here. Something here where I could put it. Then I would have a bottom facing cord on this side, which is closer to my bench. So at the end of the day, when I come back, I could set my carrier here, have my charger here, slap it in, and just plug my batteries in without having to worry about taking the charger off and just setting it on the bench. That's all. Little things like that, time by time, with time. They've already released Wave 2, of course, of the stack packs. So I know Flex is out here making some moves, and they are changing and innovating. I just really hope for compact charger, make that 90, make this smaller. If you could just take whatever this shoulder is off, it would be perfect. Like, I know it's all fans and there's a lot more technology in here, but if you could just take off like half of this shoulder with a battery and make it a fast battery, just do your basic stuff,
we got some real good stuff here. Now it's 96 outside and my AC is off, so I'm gonna get going. So last thing before I go, I do like to keep some brad nails on hand, so I wish this type of little holder, if there was a way I could put it somewhere where I wouldn't have to sacrifice that back top plate. I want everything to fit. I just want one charger and one case of these to fit on one side, so I could close it with the batteries still here. At least 3 batteries. At least 3 batteries. You know? That way I could always have one on the charger, one going, and one on the backup ready to go. So it is what it is. We'll see what Flex has to offer, and maybe we'll see one of these little mini chargers, these compacts on the horizon for Flex. I'd love to see one right here. Doesn't have to be supercharger, rapid charger, max charger, just something on the job site to stay compact, make this thing less heavy. And if you could somehow get this into a form factor like that, more or less, maybe a little bigger, that'd be awesome. So you have a great day. Thank you for watching me complain, and work smart.